Okay, B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. We're in chapter 2, everybody. Now we're going to be talking about the most famous madam in the whole land of Canaan. Her name was Rachav Azona. Now Rachav, when KALEV and Pinchas entered Yericho in disguise, they were asking where's the hot spot where they could get the most intelligence to give to their master Yehoshua. They were recommended to go to the hotel of the master of all prostitutes of the land of Canaan, Rachav. She was a very beautiful woman, and if we look in the Talmud, Bavli, Megillah, it says that she was so extraordinarily good looking. Unfortunately, in the beginning of her life, she abused her good looks and would use it to be a harlot and sell her good looks for money. But the Gemara says that there were 4 exceedingly beautiful women: Sarah, Rachav, Abigail, which was one of the wives of David. First, she was married to Naval HaKarlani, and Esther. So she's in like the all-time in the beauty pageant of the most beautiful women of all time. She's on par, Rachav. And unfortunately, every single one of the princes from the 31 city-states in Canaan, the Gemara in Zevachim 116b says, had visited her. So for this reason, since she was like a white-collar, blue-chip harlot, and she had a hotel, I guess probably it was like a hostel, God knows what it was, the KALEV and Pinchas decided to, even though they were such holy people, they were angelic, they sacrificed to go to such a dirty place, such a filthy place, the Midrash says, in order to get intelligence for the master Yehoshua and the nation of Israel. They went into this really filthy bad place. And since people were there in a very jolly mood, probably they would she had a bar there also, and they would get drunk, so they would spill all the secrets in this hotel hostel that Rachav ran. And basically KALEV and Pinchas, they decided that they would stay the night there, and make no mistake, chas v'shalom, the Midrash and all the commentaries is, they did not go there to ask chas v'shalom to the millionth and trillionth degree. They did not go there for the services of the hostel and the hotel of Rachav, but they went there because it was the best place to get intelligence about what the mood of the Canaanim were. Were they going to put up a fierce fight, or were they scared to death? Now, they made believe that they were travelers from a faraway land. Now, Rachav, as we said, according to Kabbalah, she was a Gilgul of Zolecha, the woman that tried to seduce Yosef HaSadik, Yusuf HaSadiq. And we said that Yehoshua was actually a reincarnation of Yosef, and they actually ended up getting married. It's just interesting Kabbalistically how reincarnations, the soul has the same tendencies in all of its comings into the world. The same way she wanted to seduce Yosef for the majority of her life, she was a prostitute and a harlot, which provided her service to all the kings and the princes of the 31 city-states. But believe it or not, Yehoshua does end up marrying her, and her desire of marrying Yosef HaSadiq came true, her dream came true in another life through her marrying Yehoshua, which was the actual soul and reincarnation of Yosef. Now, the Midrash says, believe it or not, it's very clear from the Gemara and Sotah that even Zolecha, the wife of Potiphar, when she wanted to seduce Yosef, because she saw she had a sixth sense. She had a little bit. She was a pure soul. She wasn't a anti-God. She was, believe it or not, even though her business was to be a prostitute, she was a spiritual person and she did fear God. And even in her first reincarnation, she felt that Yosef was her soulmate. When she saw KALEV and Pinchas knocking at the door of her hotel, she realized immediately that these people were different. She could see the light of the Shekhinah on their face, that they were Sadiqim. So therefore she was very respectful and gave them the best and most comfortable rooms. But unfortunately, this was one of the most popular hotels, and the other guests became super suspicious of KALEV and Pinchas, and they had sent messengers immediately to the king of Yericho that there's two spies, suspicious people in the hotel of Rachav Hazona, Rachav the prostitute. So Rachav, at this part in the Navi, actually saves the life of the two spies. And immediately, we have to understand that the Canaanim were very paranoid about the Jews taking over their country. They came rushing and knocking at the door. So they knocked at the door and said, "Hello, let us in. We're the messengers of the king and we want to check who's spying on our land." So Rachav, which had a wonderful sense of intuition, said most probably these people are Jewish and I should save their life because they're holy men. So she was willing to die. And I just want to put something out there Kabbalistically. It could be this was why she merited to marry Yehoshua, which was a Gilgul of... So they're asking me a question online here. Why did they have to go to the hotel? Because that's where the top intelligence is. That's where they could get, with one bird, kill many stones. No. Just because you have Ruach HaKodesh doesn't mean you know every secret under the sun. They were given a specific mission and mandate to see what the attitude and psychological mentality of the Canaanites were. Were they going to put up a fierce battle? Or could Yehoshua tell his troops that, hey, don't freak out, don't become alarmed. All the Canaanim are scared to death of us. So therefore, be strong, but you have God on your side, and the other people are scared to death, so you're easily going to overcome them. So the reason why, and I want to make something crystal clear, it does seem a little bit shady that they visited Rachav in her hotel, but the Midrash is very clear that they were not punished for this, and actually anybody that's on such a high level as Pinchas, which is Eliyahu Hanavi, which is the most zealous of all our angels and prophets, and KALEV, which was unfortunately going to be Mashiach ben David, you could rest assured that their motives were totally altruistic and L'Shem Shamayim to gather the best amount of evidence. Again, we have to realize that just because a person has Ruach HaKodesh doesn't mean he's Chas v'Shalom God. like we said in a class, I think 2 times ago, or last time, they easily could have been killed if they were caught by the Canaanite kings. So again, Rachav, I think, I'm just putting my own 2 cents here, since she caused Yosef to be thrown in the dungeon for 12 years, it could be this time, since she saved the life of 2 Tzaddikim. In her previous reincarnation, she caused the big Tzaddik, Yosef, to get punished. Since in this incarnation she saved the life of 2 Tzaddikim, I think, this is my own opinion, I didn't see this anywhere, this is why she was Zoche to marry Yehoshua, which was a tremendously important person, and she ultimately, through her act of sacrifice of trying to save the life of these 2 gentlemen, she saved her own life and the life of all her brothers and sisters and family, as we're going to see in a second. Because she remembered that as a small child, that God split the sea for the Jews and brought the 10 plagues on the Egyptians. And she was one of those persons like Yitro or like Ruth. We have to know that there is a very, very, very important midrash that says, we read last week that God went to all the nations and they rejected the Torah. Like, for example, he went to the children of Ishmael. They said, what's written in it? He said, you can't commit adultery. They said, or you can't commit sexual sin, fooling around. They said, no, we don't want it. He went to the Esav, the Edomites. They said, what's written in it? He said, you can't murder. They said, we're not interested. But the reason why we so desperately need the converts, and make no mistake, some of the greatest Jews of all times are converts. Rabbi Akiva is the children of converts. Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes is the children of converts. Our Mashiach David, we read the Megillah of Ruth just a few days ago, is from converts. And the great general and successor of Moshe, Yehoshua, saw the value of converts, and he decided to actually go ahead and marry Rachav. So now the reason why is because you have to understand, at the giving of the Torah, God did not have the opportunity to go to each individual non-Jew and say, do you want the Torah? As a nation, they rejected it. But there were individuals that were impressed by the God of Israel and his miracles and knew in their heart of hearts that he is the only one and true God. These souls were willing to accept the Torah, but they weren't able to, since the king of their country, the elders of their country, rejected the Torah. But believe it or not, through us Jews, one of the reasons we Jews, the Chidah says, based on the Arizal and Kabbalah, one of the reasons we Jews have to go to all the 4 corners of the world is that these souls that were like Rachav, that heard about the true and one God, and at the giving of Torah would have accepted the Torah, they just weren't able to because their nation rejected it. These souls eventually will come under the flag of God and Torah, and throughout history, there are some very lofty and special souls. And they're asking me here another question: can a goy become a gilgul of a Jew? Yes, he can. The Arizal says a severe punishment is no, that a goy cannot become a gilgul of a Jew, but a Jew can become a gilgul of a goy. So as a punishment, just like if you say too much Lashon Hara, you could become a reincarnation of a dog. A Jewish soul can, as a punishment, become a gilgul of a goy, but not the opposite. Now let's go ahead, let's not get too much off topic here. Rachav says, I know that your God is true, and I know that if I cooperate with you, the Midrash says that she would have been burnt alive, right? In any country, the worst possible punishment goes to a person that is convicted of treason. So Rachav did not open the door for the king's messengers. Instead, she asked them to wait inside and hurried to the room where KALEV and Pinchas were resting. She's told them, the king has found out that you guys are here. So she said, you guys need to hide and hurry. Pinchas told her, you don't need to hide me. Pinchas had this magical power by saying the 72-letter name of God, I think, that to become invisible. So he just went and said that name. You're allowed to do that to save your life. Pinchas, through his magical holy powers, used them and became invisible. And Rachav quickly hid KALEV behind a large object. And immediately she opened the door for the king's messengers. She said, gentlemen, yes, there were two strangers here, but I hate to tell you that before they closed the city, the gate of the city of Jericho, of Yericho, they left across the Jordan River. So go quickly, chase after them, cross the Jordan River. So she led them on a wild goose chase. And the king's messengers were a little bit reluctant. They weren't sure if she was lying. But the two men sent by the king decided to listen to Rachav. But in the event that they would not find the Jewish spies, they would return to search for them in her hotel. So as soon as, this is a very exciting scene. So basically Rachav did risk her life. As soon as the king's messengers left to cross the Jordan River to look on a wild goose chase, what Rachav went ahead and did was, she took him up to the roof, and where she stored the bundles of flax, and she put them under the bundles. Later at midnight, she came up on the roof, and she said, I know Hashem has given you the land, and all the Canaanim tremble before you. So she spilled the beans. She gave him the intelligence. Basically, she says that I heard about the miracle of the Yam Suf, of the splitting of the Red Sea. I know that you killed the two most mighty kings on the other side of the Jordan, Sichon and Og. Everybody here is terrified about you. All the 31 kings, they know of all the miracles. So, and then she says, I want to become Jewish. She tells KALEV and Pinchas that I know there is no other power in heaven and earth but the only true Hashem, and I want to join your people. And she said, now that I'm a Jew, I want to ask you a favor. When you guys conquer the land of Israel, please spare the lives of my parents, my family, brothers and sisters, because I saved your lives. KALEV and Pinchas answer with a lot of integrity that, yes, since you have decided to convert to become a Jew, you are like our sister now, and we will honor and promise that we will not harm you. And they gave her a fascinating sign. They said, when we enter Yericho, you're going to have to put a red flag, like a red handkerchief outside your window. We'll know that that house belongs to you and your family, and we won't kill you. And we swear not to kill anybody of part of your house. But if you give this secret to other people and allow other people that are not part of your family to enter your house, then we will kill them. So basically Rachav agrees to this deal that she's going to put the red flag, red handkerchief outside her window, and she actually, luckily enough, her hotel was located, embedded inside of the walls of the city. So outside her window of her hotel, you could escape. She brought a rope and they went down the rope and they were outside of the city of Jericho. But she said, don't cross the Jordan because there may be many soldiers looking for you. Go to the mountains for 3 days, then go back to Yehoshua. And Baruch Hashem, their mission was successful, the mission of KALEV and Pinchas. They came and told Yehoshua that yes, we have the best first-hand information from the madam of all madams that is in contact. She gives her services to all the princes and all the kings of the Canaan, and she knows that they are all in a very, very scared mood. And they told Yehoshua also the great miracle. Obviously, this is a great miracle that Rachav should not be an informer and she should save their life. This teaches us Lev Malachim Beyad Hashem. And they made sure to tell Yehoshua that they should be very well on the lookout of the red string, the red thread, the red handkerchief outside her window, that's a sign that that family should not be harmed. And now actually Yehoshua understood why Hashem had allowed the king of Jericho to discover the spies. Rachav was a special woman, and therefore Hashem had given her the opportunity to save the spies. In return, her life would be saved and she would join the Jewish people. So Hashem very much wants these very special souls like Ruth HaMoaviyah and Rachav HaZonah, and the forefathers of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes. These souls are so pure, they really belong to be incorporated in the nation of Israel. And therefore this whole story of the spies was made that they should be incorporated. I really thank you everybody for listening. Please stay tuned for next week, God willing. And please share this shiur with more people. It's such a shame a lot of people are not familiar with the what's going on in the book of Tanakh.